Zero to 911, what's the address of the emergency?
I've been shot, please.
What's the address, ma'am?
1525. Boulevard Way.
What's the phone number you're calling from in case I need you?
972 939 9.
In this gripping true crime story, Nancy Shaw survives a terrifying attack that leaves everyone questioning who could be behind it. As the investigation unfolds, shocking secrets are revealed, turning her world upside down. What would you do if you woke up in a hospital bed with your face shattered by a bullet? What if you were the target of a cold-blooded hit? This was not just a hypothetical situation for Nancy Shaw. In fact, her reality was much worse. Someone close to her wanted her dead. It was a warm August evening in 2012. Alone at home after a day spent with friends at church, Nancy had no idea that there was someone in the distance waiting for the right moment to attack. Why did someone want her gone in the first place? Who was Nancy Shaw? Nancy and Frank Howard's love story began in 1983 when they tied the knot. Together they had 3 children and lived in a close-knit community of Carrollton, Texas. From the outside looking in, they seemed like the picture-perfect family. He was incredibly kind, gentle, and loving, Nancy recalls. Frank was always there for our kids, coaching their soccer teams, cheering them on at every game, and even supporting them in their musical theater pursuits. They did everything together. Nancy and Frank were pillars of their community, known for their warm hearts. They sang in the church choir, actively participated in local events, and regularly opened their home to host Bible study meetings for the youth group. Nancy's daughters, Ashley Faust and Brianna Howard, remember their childhood as a time filled with laughter and love. But as time went on, things began to change. By the time of the attack, all 3 children had grown up and moved out, leaving Nancy and Frank alone in their home. Frank's career as an accountant had taken off, and his work required him to travel frequently, leaving Nancy to navigate an empty nest. I was a stay-at-home mom, that was my whole world, Nancy reflects. But when the kids left, it started getting really hard for me. Frank was away most of the time for work, and Nancy could feel them drifting apart. What had once been a life filled with shared dreams now felt lonely and isolating for Nancy. As she struggled to adjust to this new phase of her life, she had no way of knowing that the growing distance between her and Frank was just the beginning of a much darker chapter in their story, one that would ruin everything she thought she knew about her marriage. As Nancy pulled into her garage that night, she was looking forward to a quiet evening in front of the TV. She had just returned from a long day at church and was ready to unwind, carrying her purse and a bag of takeout dinner as she stepped out of her car. But before she could even close the car doors, someone interrupted her plans. Out of nowhere, Nancy felt a strong arm wrap around her neck and cold metal press against her temple. The shock of the moment left her breathless. With every ounce of strength, she managed to wrestle free from her attacker's grip and turned to face him. He was a young man barely in his 20s wearing a black baseball cap. He aimed a gun directly at her. The man said, "Give me your purse." In her terror, the words didn't register. Nancy's mind was full of confusion and fear. In her panic, Nancy's hands fumbled, and instead of handing over her purse, she handed over the bag of takeout food toward him. The attacker's frustration boiled over, and he started to throw abuse at her. He reached for her purse. Desperate and terrified, Nancy pushed the purse into his chest and cried out, "Jesus, save me." In that instant, the gun fired. The sound was deafening. The pain was the worst you can imagine. A .380 caliber bullet tore through her left temple, ripping through her sinus cavity. Nancy fell to the ground as her attacker fled the scene, leaving behind her car and the spilled takeaway food. But Nancy wasn't ready to die. Not yet. As she lay there, blood pooling around her, the fight for survival kicked in. Crawling inch by inch, she made her way to the car, trying to trigger the emergency button. When that failed, she pushed herself even further into the house. Nancy, drenched in blood from her eye down to her shirt, didn't even realize she had lost her left eye. Somehow she managed to call 911, and she screamed for help.
Zero to 911, what's the address of the emergency?
I've been shot, please.
What's the address, ma'am?
1525 Boulevard Way.
What's the phone number you're calling from in case I need you?
972 939 9.
Tell me exactly what happened.
I'm being taken in my garage. I was getting out of my car. And a lot of my friends shot me. Please help me.
Yes, ma'am, I've already got help. Started your weight. Don't hang up, and I'm going to get some questions answered from you, okay? How many people was it?
It's just one that I'm aware of.
Did you see him?
Yeah.
Was he white, black, Hispanic?
He was white at least. Dark hair.
How old?
I don't know, maybe mid to late 20s, 30s.
And what color shirt was he wearing?
I don't know. He was wearing a black cap. help me?
Yes, ma'am, they're already on the way. Just you stay on the phone with me, okay?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine how bad it hurts. I just want you to stay on the phone. Do you know, did he pull up in a car?
This is what?
Did he pull up in a car? Or did he run away?
I don't know. I never saw it. I guess it ran away. I don't know.
Okay. Are you by yourself?
Yeah.
Is your garage face the front or the back?
It's the back.
Is that where you are right now?
I made it to the front. I'm going to lock my front door.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the chair by the front door. Oh, my God. Help me, please.
Yes, ma'am, they're already on the way. What's your name?
Nancy Howard.
Okay. All right, Miss Howard, like I said, they're already on the way.
Help me, please.
Nancy dragged herself to the front door. She pushed it open just enough before collapsing from her injuries. Paramedics rushed her to the nearby hospital, where doctors worked tirelessly to save her life. Meanwhile, a police officer reached out to Nancy's children, who quickly called their father Frank. He began weeping, one of Nancy's daughters recounted. He was completely out of control, desperate to get to my rescue. As soon as Frank heard the news, he rushed to the hospital. Overcome with emotion, he collapsed to the floor even before he saw Nancy in distress. While everyone saw a loving husband completely taken over by emotions, the police were suspicious. As they started investigating, things didn't add up to a simple robbery gone wrong. They found Nancy's purse in the garage still containing money, but her driver's license was missing. It all felt too staged to the authorities. If it were a robbery, they'd have taken the money, right? The investigation took a surprising turn when a prisoner named Billy Earl Johnson came forward. Billy, serving time for unrelated crimes, revealed that a man named John had asked him to murder Nancy. However, instead of following through, Billy and his gang decided to scam John by pretending to carry out the hit, hoping to extract as much money as possible.
You know, I mean, I got a reputation of being a badass. I mean, I ain't, everybody's claiming me to be tough and bad. I don't claim to be tough and bad. I'm mean. I'm gonna hurt you. If you jump on me, I'm gonna hurt you. 49 years old. I done been to the pen for 15 years. I got grandkids that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I want to be free, and I want out this weekend. I got the big ace in the hole, and I got the ball in my court on this. If y'all want this murder, this attempted murder solved, y'all need to work with me, because I ain't playing. I'm not giving up nothing until I got something solid on my end.
I don't think this woman deserved what happened.
No, she sure didn't. But if
And she deserves a little bit of justice.
yep, and she'll get it. But I want my back scratched too.
Maybe not from you.
I want my back scratched too. I was laying on the couch and the phone rang. How he got my information from them, I don't know. He just said, you don't know me, told me his name. Said, I don't know you, but I was caught word that you might be the one to do a job for me. He wanted it done actually so it wouldn't come on him. Like a carjacking, purse snatching. There was two of them that done it. One driving, pick them up, and one that pulled the trigger. Now, which one drove, which one pulled the trigger, I don't know, but I know both of them. That number right there?
1764.
That's John's contact number, if he still got the phone.
This was supported by the arrest of a young man named Dustin Hirams, who had claimed to be a hitman targeting a woman in Carrollton. It turned out Dustin was Billy's stepson and a part of the same scheme to deceive John for financial gain.
You're a good kid. You got yourself messed up in a little thing, but you're a good kid. She didn't do nothing wrong. She's a Christian woman, dude. That's it. You know, who shared with you that she's a Christian woman? John did.
Eventually, Billy led the police to Michael Speck, another individual who had been contacted by John. Unlike the others, Speck was serious about the job and began planning Nancy's murder. An anonymous tip informed the police that Speck had enlisted his friend Michael Lawrence to help him with the hit. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place when the police listened to a phone call between Billy and John. They discovered that John was actually Frank Howard, Nancy's husband.
Hello?
Hey,
What's going on, man?
not much, man. What's happening?
Hey, I can get out of here. It's going to take about a month to get out of here, but I need some money.
Well, I mean, what happened to Michael? I gave him a bunch of money.
How much you give him?
And I don't even know anymore. It's been so long.
You give me 20?
At least.
See, I just wrote Stacy a letter and told her that he, in other words, he probably me.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is that, so I mean, it's that keeps happening. So I got nothing left.
So where's that money go?
Honestly, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where'd all that money go? Because that's where he's got it all. I told him, I said, this is the last I got. And he said he'd go take care of it. He'd take care of everything. And I have heard absolutely nothing from him since. So that's my problem. I got nothing left.
Yeah, nothing?
No, I gave him everything.
There ain't nothing you can do.
I gave him everything.
Why would Frank want his wife gone? This was the same man who pretended to weep for his injured wife. To understand his motives, you have to take a closer look at Frank. It turned out he was not so innocent after all. The police examined Frank's phone and uncovered his secret double life. They found damning evidence including pictures and messages from another woman. Frank had told Nancy he was away on a business trip the night she was attacked, but in reality he had been with his mistress for 3 years. After Nancy recovered enough to leave the ICU, Frank called her, tearfully apologizing for his infidelity. The police eventually delivered the devastating news to Nancy. Her husband, John Franklin Howard, Frank, had been arrested for orchestrating the attack. It was heartbreaking, Nancy said. Even after my eye surgery, I couldn't stop weeping. My mother had to come in and tell me to stop because my eye needed to heal. Frank had thought he could pay gangsters to eliminate Nancy so he could be with his girlfriend without any complications. To fund his secret life, he had embezzled over $30 million from a wealthy client, spending lavishly on his other woman to maintain the illusion of wealth and success. The jury didn't take long to decide Frank's fate, just 2 hours. They found him guilty of attempted capital murder, sentencing him to life in prison. He'll have a chance at parole after 30 years, but by then he'll be about 85, an old man. Nancy believes the reason Frank plotted to have her killed was that she refused to agree to a divorce. As he got deeper into his affair, he felt the pressure to prove his wealth and maintain his double life. Nancy thinks that Frank reached a point where he saw no way out other than having her shot. Before long, he was in over his head, Nancy said, reflecting on his actions. He really had no option but to have me shot. During her victim impact statement at the trial, Nancy said that she had forgiven him. She simply chose to live without any bitterness. Do you think Nancy did the right thing by forgiving him? Let us know in the comments section below. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay connected with us. See you in the next one.